Hi, everyone. It's Melanie Warner here with Defining Moments. Today, we have a special guest with us who just launched her book. Well, I want to welcome to the show, Marissa Johanson. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Oh my gosh. So you said something that my daughter, who just turned 28, she said, Marissa's words just changed my life. And I call that a defining moment. And we're going to get to what those words were in just a second because it was so profound. And I shared the same words to my son and his basketball team when they were losing one weekend. And then all of a sudden I just saw the shift in the whole team, the coach and everybody, and they came back and won the game. And so words do make a difference, right? And I want to hear, I want you to introduce yourself and tell everybody a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I am a nurse. I'm a wife. I'm a mother. I'm a dog mom. And I live in the Northern California Redwoods. And I have been taking care of patients one-on-one and one on several at a time for over 34 years. And in that course of time, I have come to know quite a bit about making decisions. I've been taught a lot. I've done a lot of it for myself, for other people, for people when they can't speak for themselves, for people when they're having a hard time trying to figure out what to decide. So I decided to bring that to everybody else. And I wanted to share that with everyone. So I am very excited about this book. It's been something that's been on my heart and mind for a number of years. However, it didn't kind of crystallize into a clear plan until recently. I met Melanie at a different event in Dallas, Texas, with the Purpose Company and Brian and Gabrielle Boucher's speaker camp. And we kind of remembered meeting each other. And then I was further encouraged to make a better acquaintance with Melanie by Tinsley English. And so she was like, you really should seek some counsel and advice. She's got a lot of good things to offer. And I was like, okay, well, I will, because I knew and appreciated Tinsley's work. So having done that, it gave me this sort of big breath, like a big zephyr of fresh air, like, oh, all of a sudden I feel like I am capable to do this. I can do this. And I had zero idea how to do it because I am a clinician. I am not a business person. I am not a literary giant. I'm none of those things. But because of the help and the support, the guidance and the encouragement that I got from defining moments, I was able to take and turn some of my own defining moments into this reality, this work. And it's just amazing. And so I'm very excited that this is available now on Amazon. I am very excited to share the strength, the hope, the wisdom, um, the love and support that I've been given to everybody else. And so the biggest defining moment for me came back during 2020 when we were all in that dark, weird time of the pandemic. And it wasn't actually a pandemic related thing for me, but I had a stroke. And I am delighted to be able to be here and actually still speak to people. I can work, I can give, I can function, I can do all these things. And I realized so quickly, and I have always known this as a professional, that so quickly from one minute to the next, things can just change just that fast. I know this, but having lived it now, is different. That's a different thing. It compressed time. It made the edges of time seem edgier, rougher, sharper. And people don't think that oftentimes time seems like a fluid thing, and it is, but it is also a thing with edges. And those edges can be sharp and uncomfortable. And that was what I went through. And that propelled me to say, you've got things to share. You've got messages that you want to encourage people with. You've got a life story that can encourage others. You've got to get it out. And so doing this with you, with Defining Moments and with the Purpose Company support too, And also actually back behind that, even is the John Maxwell Company. All of these have come together in this beautiful and productive way that I could not have accomplished alone. And so I'm just super excited to be here to share it with you, with everybody, and my family. I mean, it's just amazing.
Well, congratulations. Very proud of you. I've seen the work. I know the struggle is real. We work with authors, speakers, coaches every single day. And 90% of what we do is help people just manage their fear, of what they believe to be possible. And that the biggest challenge for all of us in this coaching space, like you mentioned, Gavin Bryan and also John Maxwell, all of us have the same challenge of you can have this amazing client and somebody you work with, but if they don't believe it's possible for themselves, it doesn't matter what you see in them. Like you can only coach somebody to the edge of themselves, right? And it's that part where you go beyond yourself, beyond what you know. You've reached the end of what everyone in your family or friends knows how to do. And you have to go outside of yourself to find a solution, right? And there's so many people out there that are gurus and they tell you things like, oh, just think positive and, just someday it'll happen and, work hard and hope and plan. And it's like those things are great, but there's very few people that actually give you the techniques and the process and the tactics. And that's really the thing. Everything's a process, right?
Mhm.
And in your world, I look at what you do and I'm amazed. Like I couldn't do what you do because you're in this trauma space as a helicopter nurse. You every day you are saving lives. So thank you for your service. You're putting your own life on the line. Now that we know about the pandemic and how, first responders can also get sick and pick up diseases that are airborne, it's a different world out there. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of volatility, a lot of young people trying to decide, what do I do next? How do I go to school? Do I go to college? Do I take a job? Do I keep going back to school? Do I get a degree? Do I work for myself, start a business, work for my parents? What are my options? And how do I know what the best decision is for me? Then you've got people, maybe in their 20s and 30s that are looking to make a move and they don't know if they want to make a lateral move or they want to go to a different company and leave their job. People that are in bad relationships or toxic situations and they need to make a decision to leave and they feel stuck and they don't know what to do and they don't feel like they have the resources. So decisions are so critical. And I love to say that like indecision is a form of self-abuse,
Mhm.
right? You made a decision to work with a couple of different people to kind of put these pieces together and reach a very big goal in your life. And there are other people that make big decisions every day, and sometimes they make the wrong ones, right? So tell us a little bit about your book and how this came together. Like why this book and why now? And the name
So
of the book, actually.
the name of the book is Decide Your Simple System for Getting It Right the First Time. And actually, I have to credit Gab Boucher for helping me name the book. She was brilliant and said, "Well, I think this would work really well," and I agreed. And so that's what I set about to use. And it became very sort of more clear to me that young people were struggling with what to decide and how to execute those decisions back in the spring when our university campuses exploded in violence over the distress that people were having about the conflict of war in the Middle East. And then there's also that had been underscored and fed on a lower level by the Ukraine invasion. And so these two events are going on, and young people were getting very, very upset, and it exploded in violence. And I thought, wow, I understand the feelings about war. I don't like war either. It's awful. As a trauma nurse, I can fully appreciate how terrible and overwhelming it is to get patient after patient after patient that comes. My heart goes out to those nurses that are about out there on the front lines getting patients blown apart, men that have been out there and trying to do their best, and they're coming back missing limbs and eyes and different things. And I I thought these kids, these young people are being encouraged to protest about this stuff, which is it's okay to speak up and have our freedom to say what we want to say. But on the other hand, they are destroying their present and their future. And there's only one thing that I can think of that has a huge impact on both the present and the future in a single moment, and that is a decision. And you've got to give yourself room to think in that decision, what is the best decision to be made right now? And sometimes that best decision isn't just about what's best for you personally. It might be what's best for everyone also around you at the same time. And sometimes it's not comfortable, it's not convenient, it doesn't come immediately. Sometimes a really good decision takes time to develop and evolve. And then I started to reflect on, okay, what is it in my own life that would support that? And I thought, well, my job for one. And then secondly, my own personal experience in life. And my own personal experience is that I was adopted as an infant. And you talk about a bad decision, a very emotionally driven decision, not based on fact, not based on reason, not based on science or anything. It was an emotional decision that my 16-year-old mother made to get pregnant. And she didn't get pregnant on purpose. It just was a natural, you know, it's just a natural biologic thing, right? So,
But she made the
however,
decision to
she
give
made a
you up
decision
for adoption, and your adopted parents made a decision to
to
adopt you.
adopt me. Exactly. So it was these series of decisions that really, really impacted me. And those decisions are still playing out their results, right? The results have been that I have these two beautiful daughters, and they are also entering their lives on their decision to serve others. One of them is a pharmacist in an emergency department, and the other one is she has a degree in communication and she's pursuing a second degree in dental hygiene. So both of them will be, through their own process of decision making, impacting positively the lives of others. None of that would have been possible if I wasn't here.
Mhm.
And so we have multiplied just within our tiny sphere, we have multiplied the benefit and blessing of a good decision onto all kinds of other people.
Multiple generations.
Yes.
Well, and the beauty is your book has a decision-making matrix, which I love. So it helps people make very quick decisions because as a trauma nurse, you have to make decisions that are life or death. Like literally, you have to make decisions very quickly.
Yes.
And now you have a saying in your industry. So will you share that with us? This is, like I
Yes.
said, these are the words that have changed a lot of people's lives. And I said, this is why I need to write a book and get this out in the world.
So one of the things that gives me that space that I mentioned to stop and think about what I need to decide when I'm at work and the heat is on and my patient is going to have a bad consequence if I don't do something in the next few seconds is to say to myself, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. It slows my head down so that I can sort out, okay, what's my priority here? Where do I start? What needs addressing right now? And what can wait for 5 minutes? What do I need to do first? Where do I begin? And that slow is smooth, smooth is fast helps me to calm my head and get things rolling, and it just works. It works. It gets, and we borrowed that from, in our industry, we borrowed that from the military,
Yes.
because the military does the same thing. They will they're soldiers, and they have critical
They
decisions to
have to
make
make critical decisions that are
in
life or
an
death as
instant.
well. And
Yes.
so do
And
police officers.
so
So,
do police
and
officers. So that
firemen.
slow is smooth, smooth is fast thing, if you can just remember it and say it to yourself, you're like, right, my brain can figure this out faster than time can move on a clock. I'm
And
okay.
watching my sons play, and thank you for sharing that. I love that. And when I shared that with my son and his coach, I was watching how frenetic they were rushing. They were just running down the court as fast as they could. And there was this frenetic energy of just trying to go fast. And we have this message out there in the world that if you are fast, you're successful. If you work, the faster you work, the more successful. The busier you are, the more successful you are. And that's not true. That's a message we're sending out to people. And so these kids were thinking they had to be fast to be successful, but that frenetic fast motion was just making them miss shots and they were rushed and frantic. And when they started repeating that mantra, you know what I mean? Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Then it was like the coach was like, you don't need to go fast, you just need to be smooth. And it would just, it shifted, and you could see the shift in the game immediately. And they were behind,
Yeah,
like
and
eight
their
points
accuracy improved.
behind. They
Yeah.
came back and won the game, you know, and that was,
Amazing.
it shifted at halftime when they had their little chat because we were talking about that. So just, and again, the impact of your words and you being who you are, not only influencing your daughter, but influencing my kids by just, you know, sharing those words and me sharing them with people. So that's one of the things I think that is so great about this book is like, you know, anybody that has to make a decision is in this transition stage of their life. Maybe they're unhappy and they need to make a big change and they're afraid to make that change. They don't know where to start. And the first start is that decision. Or maybe, you know, people that are just, they're doing okay, but they just want to do better. You know, we have to make decisions every single day based on where we spend our time, where we invest our money, what goes into our bodies, what goes into our brains, who do we spend time with? All of those things, we're making these subconscious decisions. And when we slow down and we make that decision from that same space, it's almost like making a decision from the future you that already has the thing you want. And it comes from wisdom and
Mhm.
it doesn't come from fear. That's the most
Well,
powerful thing.
and it's just so deliberate and intentional then, right? It's not knee jerk. It's not frantic. You used the word frantic. It takes away that frantic energy and you just deliberately choose.
And I think that's such a wise message to get out today in the world where we have so much busyness. People are
All
so
right.
busy, but they're not productive. They're busy doing things, and we're so busy doing that we're forgetting to just be. We're called human beings, not human doings. Yet we get a
Right.
lot done. And so this is a great tool that's going to help you guys slow down and be smooth and get
Just
things done.
evaluate. Yep. And just evaluate. Okay, this is why I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. And here is how I'm going to get it done.
And I love that. So your book has a lot of nuggets like that and a whole matrix and system and everything. So I know you also have a special gift today. Did you want to share what that is with our audience? So
Yes.
you get the book and you support Marissa during the launch. And by the way, if you love the book, if you can go leave an honest review, that will also help her get the word out as well.
So I have a decision-making scorecard. It's a score sheet. Some people fall into this notion that they don't know how to make decisions well. Maybe they've made some bad decisions, such as my mother getting pregnant with me. And my example is that, like, okay, she did that, but then she followed that up with an excellent decision. So it's not a trap. Don't let yourself feel trapped that you can't make a good decision. But this score sheet will help guide you through the process. And this process is something that I adapted and borrowed. It's been vetted and tested and used over and over for decades in healthcare, in nursing and medicine. And I borrowed it and I retooled it to line up with the word decide so that it's easy to remember. And you can just use this score sheet and give yourself a little exam. You know, how well do I do this? And we do this all the time in medicine. We have things broken down into score sheets for how likely is it that you're going to have this happen? How likely is it that you're going to have this diagnosis? And we base that on years of study. So that's what this sheet is. It's
I
based
love
on
that.
that same system.
So
So
how do they get a copy of this sheet, the scorecard?
this is available to people if they want to email me. My email is wiselifestrategies.com. My web address is wiselifestrategies.com. And shoot me a note. Let me know that you would like that score sheet, and I'll send it over to you. You can also find me on LinkedIn, and I'm also on Facebook. On Facebook, I'm there under my name. I haven't created a business page for Facebook, but if you Google mine or if you look up my name on Facebook and drop me a note saying, hey, I'd like your score sheet for decision making, I'll send it to you.
That's awesome. Also, I think when you go to the website, you also have your book page where people can learn more about your book. They can get the scorecard. They can also book you as a speaker, which is really important because you actually are a trained certified speaker and you go to all these different companies. And I think your biggest message is really with schools, where schools can bring you in and have you speak to their entire organization, not just the administrators, but also the student body to help young people learn how to make better decisions. Because when you think about it, the most critical decisions we make, where are we going to school? Are we going to school? Are we going to get a job? Who are we going to marry? All those things seem to happen when we're at the youngest, most experienced self, where we don't have the life experience to make
The
big decisions
vulnerable
like that.
time.
But we have this horrible pressure on us to make these decisions that we feel pressured by society to make at a very early age. And some of those decisions start happening at 13, 14, 15. Like you said, even when we've got the decisions of, my friend is experimenting with drugs. Should I try it? I mean, just little things like that that you don't realize can affect the rest of your life. So I know that schools benefit from having you come in and speak, so they can go there to book you as a speaker. And also, as you're expanding into coaching and consulting, there's people that can hire you to kind of help them get their kids more aligned with those decisions. So that's something for parents to think about. They could also reach out to you as well and have that conversation about what that would look like to maybe work with you as a coach or a consultant in helping their kids make better decisions.
Of course,
So,
sometimes it takes some heat off of parents to have their kids hear this from a completely objective, neutral third party. A lot
well,
of
and what
times,
a rock star you are. You're a helicopter trauma nurse. Like you get to spend all day on helicopters. I think a lot of kids look at that as like, wow, that's pretty cool. It's a cool job. But you know the realities of it,
yeah,
and you wouldn't be able to do the job. And by the way, save all these lives without losing anyone, which I think is really tremendous because you're in trauma and it's like you're getting people that are in the worst possible shape and you're keeping them alive, which is really remarkable. So, God bless you for what you do. I'm so glad that you decided to complete this and thank you for trusting us with this baby, this little book baby that you've given birth to. And it's amazing, isn't it, how quickly it all came together in just a few months? Like you
in
came
just a
in,
few months. Yeah.
had some idea, what advice would you give to somebody who's on the fence about writing a book or they have an idea or they think they want to, be a speaker and do all these things? Like what advice would you give to them?
I would tell them to always remember there is always a way. There is always a way. And I didn't know what the way was, but fortunately I found people who do. And that way to get this done is effective. It's like I've said with my decision making process, your methods are effective because they are tried, they are true, and they are constantly evaluated and monitored. And that's the difference maker right there. You've got to go with what's tried, true, and makes a difference. We do the same thing in medicine as much as we are able to. And when we're not interfered with, that process works very well. There are some actors out there that will interfere with our process, and we'll get to them in another conversation. But there when that process is not interfered with and it's executed well, it works. And that's the same thing here with defining moments and like I mentioned, purpose mastery and John Maxwell, they have methods and tools available to help you make it work. There is always a way.
I love that. I remember when I was a kid, my dad used to tell me it takes a woman 9 months to have a baby. And no matter how hard they try, 9 women can't have a baby in a month. Some things just take time, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
there's a myth out there that a book, if it's going to be a good book, it's going to take 20, 30 years to build. And the truth is, it's like we can have a baby in a month, a book baby, right?
Yeah.
We can put 9 people together to create these book babies in a matter of weeks or months. We usually can get a first draft in about 30 days. And some of you are like, I don't have time to write a book. We have best-selling authors that are writers that actually will interview you and help you and write the book with you and for you if you need that. Or there's people that want to write their own book and have that transformation. But the beauty is that no matter what, it's a process. And once you learn the process, just like baking chocolate chip cookies, there's a recipe and there's a process that works and gets the result. And try baking chocolate chip cookies without the recipe. It's hard. A lot
No,
of
about their
guesswork. It's a
tastier.
lot of buying materials and spoiling them because you're trying to figure it out on your own. And it's not necessary when there's a process of helping you get to that result a lot faster. So if you are interested in being an author or a speaker or a coach, or you are already in that space and you want to learn how to build up your stages, like getting booked in the media, podcast, getting your book done, getting it out there, marketing it, all of that, we've got solutions for you. So go to mydefiningmoments.com and we'd love to hear more about your concept and idea. You can book a call with somebody in our team and talk with one of our producers and see where we can help you land. And just like Marissa, coming in beside you, giving you that support and just helping you get there faster, whatever it takes to help you get that little book baby out of you and really share the message with the world. And I'm so grateful you did that, Marissa, because I can see the personal influence in my life that your mother's choice to have you and your choice and your troubles and your trials that you've overcome and accomplished that you were able to share with me has helped my family. So I am so grateful and honored that now you're going to get to help millions of people out there. So thank you so much for your dedication, your commitment, your character, and for finishing this and getting it out to the world. So congratulations on your beautiful little book, baby. So excited for you and your family and can't wait to celebrate that with you. Please, you guys, today the book is on sale for only 99 cents. Just today, it's a special for the launch. So if you're watching a replay, you can still get the book. It may not be the same price. And you can click below for all the links to the book in each country, as well as the website to reach Marissa and get that scorecard. Marissa, is there anything else that you'd like to share before we wrap up today?
Um, I just feel very grateful. I'm grateful to you. I'm grateful to God to keeping me going and getting this done. And I am grateful to all the potential and future readers out there. I am here to help in any way I can.
Well, thank you so much. It's such a valuable gift that you're giving so many people, and just so pleased that you got it done. Good way to go. It's
Thank
like,
you.
yes, it's out there. All right, guys. So enjoy the book and don't forget to leave an honest review. If you love the book, make sure you tell others about it and help Marissa on her journey here as a published author. And again, thank you for watching. Can't wait to see you all next time. Take care. I'm Melanie Warner with Marissa Johansson. Thank you so much for being here today. See you later, everyone. See you next time.